technical difficulties right away. Hope that doesn't bode. I hope this whole reading will not be full of technical difficulties. Good morning. This is me, Pearl, Tuned In Tarot. I am crazy today. I have a lot of work to do, and it's going to be on my mind this whole time, I think. Okay. Welcome. This is our chance to look at the energies for today, the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine within inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state that's in, we're going to see reflected back to us from our external environment. So if there's a specific person that you're thinking about when you hear either divine masculine or divine feminine, remember this is about energy, not about gender. But if you have a specific person in mind, you may be able to glean some things about that person, but only because it's just a reflection of what's inside of yourself, truly. I know you don't believe me, but it's true. Okay, so let's start. Today, when I shuffled the cards, there was a Run the Jewels song, and it was kind of about justice, really, about wanting justice, needing justice. It was interesting. It was one that I hadn't paid attention to the lyrics before. It was about constantly being haunted by injustice, really. And then the next song after that was I think Bon Iver song. Yes, it was a video, so I don't know if I can see the lyrics, but I mean, Bon Iver, romantic, dreamy. And the video was this winter landscape. It was really triggering. I was like, because it was driving in the winter. It looked like it could have been where I'm from, which is very, very northern New York, near the border of Canada. And made me a little nostalgic because I'm not likely going home again this year for the holidays, which is as an Italian family, is always a to-do. And it was a car that was driving, and the way that the sun hits the snow in the winter, where it's kind of weird, apocalyptic looking or something. Also, the traffic's gonna be louder today because I had to open my window. Sorry about that. So anyway, I was immediately reminded of that, of driving home in the winter time, and of course it just reminded me of that season. And so I think it's just about the holiday seasons coming up and everything. But when I was shuffling, both of the divine masculine and divine feminine have the same number of cards that were visible. So I think I'll just start with divine masculine today because he's not overthinking. So we'll reward him for not overthinking. Okay, let's take a look. Top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of his mind, none other than the Empress. I mean, we love this. For a while here, I think a couple months back, I had a reading where this was constantly coming up for him, but it was in reverse, in reverse, in reverse. And I think I said something like, when we see it upright in his headspace, that will really be something. And then that happened, and it did some significant shifts happened for him. But now, not only do we see it upright in his headspace, it's at the forefront of his mind. I think we have a divine masculine that is very ready to approach this divine feminine. He feels that she is approachable. He definitely feels that this is wifey material, fertile, abundant. And I think there's a feeling of gestation here for him in terms of this divine Empress, as in I think he put in the work for the plans for whatever he's wanting to do, maybe 8 months ago, and we're heading towards that 9th month and this final birth, because there is pregnancy associated with this card, but I see it more as the metaphorical pregnancy, so to speak, and babies, creations. It can be anything. It can be artwork. It doesn't have to be human babies, although it can be. But this is really, I think, about how he has planted the seeds for this reunion and for having this Empress in his life, and that is now about to reach its fulfillment. The niggling thing in the back of his mind is am I really ready for this, right? We have this King of Pentacles. This is in reverse because there is a sense here that he's not quite manifest in the material world for this Empress. So there's that he's, kind of just bugging him in the back of his mind. It could also just be about like, am I truly ready to be in this provider mode, this protector mode? And like, do I have really what it takes to be the king, when I'm often kind of associating myself with Page of Pentacles energy, with small offer, and not really with the command and control that the king has. So there is a little bit of that in his headspace. But it's in the back of his mind, and it's not overwhelming him. What's overwhelming him is really thoughts of his divine feminine. The first thing on his mind, we have Twin Flame card, the Two of Wands, and it is a card of waiting. It's a card about patience, about waiting for your ships to come in. Well, actually, the Three of Wands is really your ships to come in. This is really more the idea that what you have done, what you have put out into the world, you're now waiting for the higher power to sort of take its, like, make the next move. There's really nothing you can do. Everything that you've done has been done, and it's really kind of up to the higher power to like bring this all into its fulfillment. So he's waiting, and he's got like the whole world in his hands there, and this is everything that he wants to give to divine feminine. I'm getting a sense that there's like a lot of gifts that he's been like stocking up, like material things, which he knows that divine feminine really doesn't care that much about, but she will really be delighted. And so he just really wants to give her the world, like all the things she's been missing, all she's been longing for. That's what that niggling King of Pentacles energy is about. Like, will I really be able to sustain the level that I want to give this Empress? She's an Empress. She needs more than a King of Pentacles, really. She needs an Emperor. Like, do I have what it takes? So he's just sort of at this crossroads, waiting to know how to go forward, waiting to know what direction to go in, how to bring this to her, what exactly to say, and just all those pieces really to kind of fall into place. The thing is, though, he is feeling like he has a lot of abundance. He has worked really hard. Okay, they fixed the dimming screen. Now it's happening again. Like, why? Okay, anyway, so he is really working very hard and has started to really accrue quite a lot of abundance. He is really excited. That's part about this world he has to give to divine feminine. He's very excited, and I see that by the clarifying card. But he's excited to share this with her. He's excited to show her what he has to offer. This is definitely moving from the Page energy into like, I have a lot to offer you. And that's a much different mindset that we're usually seeing for this divine masculine. The reason why I'm saying that is because the next card up is this Nine of Swords, and it's in reverse because he's not up late anymore with these anxieties and worries about not having enough, about not being able to give her what she needs, about not being able to do what she needs him to do, feeling like he's got nothing left to give, and what is he possibly going to do? This is a thing of the past. He's no longer afraid of this. I also think that King of Pentacles, just occurring to me in reverse, might be a little bit about being worried that he can entirely protect her, because there is this little bit of like, I don't know, there's some kind of an energy here that requires a protection of like physical body or mental health or something. So I do sense a little bit of anxiety there about his ability to truly protect divine feminine from some of the strife that he brings with him that's just kind of attached to him from past relationships, past karmic relationships. That can be with a karmic partner or with children from a marriage with a karmic partner. It can also be from restrictive belief systems. It can be from addiction. There is just a little bit of anxiety that he can't quite protect her from himself. But remember, when we look at Divine Masculine's headspace, we're always looking at a lot, for the most part, we are looking at worries that aren't reflected in his heart space. And it's requiring him to tune into his heart to kind of push these worries out of his mind. So there is a little bit of that in here. But the next card up is this Five of Swords, and it is in reverse, which means he's not about to accept defeat. He will not be defeated by having to wait for these things to come into being, to come to pass. He will not allow the twin flame bond between them to be defeated. He's not willing to walk away or give up in any way, shape, or form. And he is also feeling with this that he's not anxious anymore, that he's having to fight a battle, not only with Divine Feminine, but in order to be with her. He's realized, I think, there's been this recurring imagery in his heart space of the Seven of Wands, and it's been in the vice versa deck, which shows one side that's more traditional, where you have the Divine Masculine with a stave or whatever, a staff, I guess, fighting off other staves, and you flip it around and you can see that there's really no one on this battlefield and that it's really been an illusion. So I think he's starting to take that feeling from his heart space and really start thinking about it in his mind, like this, what he's had to protect her from, which really has been himself. He's realizing is that's been an illusion. He doesn't have to hold back from her anymore because he doesn't have to protect her from himself. I see that. He's really thinking that. All right, the reason why I'm saying he's got a lot of abundance and he's excited to share it is because it's clarified by this Three of Cups. And this is the reunion, this is celebration, this is he's spending a lot, honey, on whatever it is he's planning to do. He's really got a lot of gifts. He's got a lot he wants to give. He wants to give the whole world. So he's been working on it, and he's also working on this reunion. He's working on this celebration. The reason that he has abandoned these fears is because he has gone into his hermit mode, as he actually was acknowledged for yesterday. He's gone into his hermit mode, and he has been guided within, and he is trusting in this inner guidance that he's receiving to lead him out of this darkness that he's been in the past. It's pretty good, Divine Masculine. We don't hate it. All right, top of the deck for his heart space, his Queen of the Moon. We have Divine Feminine here. She is in her role as the star. She's she's the Queen of the Moon in this image, but it's the same kind of energy as the star, where she's pouring the unconscious in the material. But here we have even the subconscious, and it's turning into this like green sort of potion, and there's this heart chakra element here. There's also wealth and abundance there. And then there's just light work that she's having to do. There's this cosmic connection that he's really feeling. And of course, we've got the twin pillars here with this, for him, this twin bond, twin flame energy. This is a card about fear and anxieties, but it's also a card about the subconscious. It's about the dream space. And I think his heart right now, in his heart, he's feeling very dreamy. He's feeling very tapped in and tuned into this 5D energy between them. And I don't feel a lot of anxiety from this card today. I feel like it really is just much more about how sacred this union is, because it has been one that has been about the cosmos and about the moon. And he's just really kind of like, this is the thing that is allowing him to have this kind of patience, right? Because he's understanding that this twin flame aspect of this relationship just really makes it strong and patient. The niggling feeling in his heart space is patience. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and we see him having planted his seeds and now awaiting the harvest. Now, in vice versa, we could have seen him from behind, waiting patiently for this to happen. Instead, we see him from the front, and we can see that he's not loving this feeling. So there is impatience here. We didn't have to see it in reverse to kind of get the energy of impatience. He's feeling frustrated. These fruits are ready to be harvested, but he's still not able to get up and do it quite yet. And that's the niggling feeling in the back of his head. He's just chafing at this energy. Now, both of y'all are overthinking today, overfeeling today. Divine Feminine's overthinking and overfeeling. Divine Masculine's got some extra feels in his heart space. But let's look. Let us see. We have the Seven of Cups. It is in reverse. We can see his Divine Feminine here at the center. And so what I am seeing here is we have a Divine Masculine who is no longer confused about who he wants to prioritize. He's no longer confused about what to do with the feelings he has for Divine Feminine. He's absolutely certain this is his Empress. We see her here in the forefront of his mind, and he's chosen to focus on her. In his heart space, he has made his decision to focus on this Empress, because he understands that as he does that, he will bring himself the fulfillment that he's always been longing for. Focusing on, I brought that up and it's here, that's crazy. Focusing on the Empress has caused him, through the law of attraction, right? Seeing her through the eyes of Source has caused him to have to see himself through the eyes of Source as well. So he has this understanding that as he chooses Divine Feminine, he's really choosing himself, which is something he's not done. He's spent a lot of time in his life giving to people that were demanding things be given, and he did that somewhat begrudgingly and with a guilty conscience, because he felt like he was doing it only for obligation. This is a Divine Masculine who is choosing who he wants to give to, what he wants to give to her. And it's about choosing himself because it's his own desire, and it's really not about anyone else's opinions, thoughts, ideas in regards to the relationship. The next thing in his heart is this Three of Wands. So we have him in Two of Wands in his head space and Three of Wands in his heart space. And there is a reason why this imagery is so similar. It is definitely still about patience. This is more of a ships coming in kind of a card, waiting for your ships to come in. This is knowing there's really nothing left for you to do. And this is like, yes, you now are going to be able to take action, but there are these pieces of the puzzle that have to fall into place. Like the ships have to come into the harbor for you to like get everything off of the ships. The seeds have to bear fruit, and they have to be ready for you to harvest, but you still have to wait and you still have to be patient. And so he's really being patient. He's chosen Divine Feminine. He's trusting that his desire to give her this world and his work to balance the energy within himself and her work to balance the energy within herself is going to lead to their reunion and to the fulfillment of this desire. And then what card did I just talk about? I said came up a lot, and I swear I did not see it. The Seven of Wands in reverse. So just like I was saying in his headspace, he is relinquishing these illusions that there is even any battle for him to fight. He doesn't have to fight Divine Feminine. He doesn't have to fight off a bunch of suitors that she has. He doesn't have to fight against opposing forces to be with her. So the thing that's holding them up right now is simply divine timing. And he's trusting in it. With that Two of Wands and Three of Wands upright, he's trusting in it. We're also seeing a progression. What comes after the Three of Wands? The Four of Wands, right? The celebration of a sacred union. So, no more battles. It's an illusion. consequently, he doesn't have to hide anymore. He used to hide himself because he was afraid of this battle that he was going to have to fight for divine feminine. But he's realizing that he does not have to hide. He does not have to wear a mask, nothing. This is also, the Seven of Swords can also be about strategy, planning. And the Three of Wands is really just sort of like waiting for the pieces. He's laid the strategy. He has the plans. It's all happening. And so he's no longer having to strategize what to do. He knows what to do. He's now just doing those things. Eight of Cups in reverse. This is a divine masculine who has had temperance issues. We've seen him having to pour out his cups. And when we look at this particular image of the Eight of Cups, we could be seeing it like this, which is more traditional. We have the individual that's walking away potentially from their success in order to pursue something else, a higher calling. And some of these cups are filled with abundance, and some of them are filled with poison. And so they're choosing to walk away from what doesn't serve them. It's a good card. It bodes well. The next card is Nine of Cups. That's the wish fulfillment. It's like you take the risk of walking away from these cups, these familiar cups, trusting that you're going to get more. And that is what this individual is doing. Now we're seeing this from this side. We see her, this inner child, and it's abandoned. There is a sadness here. You know, to see a little child of this age all by themselves, I mean, I'm a mother, so I'm like, where's mom? Where's dad? Like, why are they alone in the dark, you know? So what he's walking away from, I see this very interesting comment here too. There's a lot of this like energy of space and everything, but he's walking away from the lessons that he learned as a child that didn't serve him, the beliefs, the poison that he was fed for a long time, his inner child just kind of there alone, not really taken care of. There's neglect here, probably abuse, maybe physical and sexual abuse. There's this little lost child that really was not cared for. And he's walking away from the effects that has had on him. That's the healing work that he's really been doing. So we're seeing him finally able to like release the poison from these experiences. And this has given him a lot of power. A lot of power. He's using all the tools, which incidentally are all the suits of the tarot, right? He's using everything in his power to manifest what it is that he desires. And what is that? Well, we know what it is. It's the Empress. So he's in his heart space, he's feeling powerful, capable, and he's also feeling very connected to the divine. We see this comet. And remember, when you take the risk of walking away, you get the Nine of Cups, right? So this thing, whatever this is, he didn't lose it, right? That spark, that spirit, whatever it was, he didn't lose it. There's always been this guiding light. It's always been there for him. And he's realizing that is this connection to not only to divine feminine, but to the divine itself. Love that. Now, my ego. All right, go away. Knight of Wands. I don't know, but you know what? I'm not feeling this Knight of Wands energy in its negative today. I'm feeling the positive side of it, which is swift action. All right. I don't feel like this is a card where he's really going to be engaging so much in the behaviors of Knight of Wands, because he knows how much his Empress does not like that. And I do think that the walking away from things that don't serve you has to do with what has caused him to be the Knight of Wands. The reason why I'm feeling very confident about that is because I see that he feels he has power over the shadow traits of this Knight of Wands. He has power over taking actions that he's not there for. He does have a little bit of fear in his headspace, though, that he's not quite able to be this manifested divine masculine quite yet. But he's determined to do everything in his power to contain the Knight of Wands so that he doesn't drive feminine crazy. I hope. All right, let's look at divine feminine. Interesting. Okay, so top of the deck for divine feminine, the forefront of her mind is King of Wands. Not the Emperor. King of Wands. And he's in the reverse because divine masculine is really not showing her that he is a man of action. She is getting this and she wants this. So there's a little bit of, discomfort at the forefront of her mind because she's still getting same old. But I do sense, based on the niggling thought in the back of her mind, and also just the energy that I'm feeling from this card, that she is trusting that her divine masculine is going to shift into this King of Wands energy when he is able to. There is a feeling here that she has fully accepted that this is who he is. He's not the Knight of Wands. He is this. And that when these obstacles are removed, whatever those are, the Seven of Pentacles, the three of Wands, 2 and 3 of Wands, whenever that energy, which she understands is divine and protective, when that lifts, she feels that he will shift. But while she's thinking about him a lot and he's at the forefront of her mind, he's also not quite here yet. Now, this is also about herself, because we have a divine feminine who's consistently really doing that work of viewing herself as having to be her own King of Wands, her own Emperor, right? And she's also feeling like she needs to shift into this big action and take big action for herself. She is hoping that if she can do this niggling thing in the back of her mind, she will get her wish fulfillment. Now, when she shifts into big action for herself and does something very profound for herself, so divine masculine does for her. So she understands that connection and she is preparing consciously to take action for herself, knowing it will be reflected back to her because she's super smart. This is a wish fulfillment card, meaning if you see this in the spread, whether it's reverse or upright, you will get whatever wish is in your mind. So I know what my wish is, and I'm excited. Okay, let's look at her whole headspace. First thing on her mind, Princess of Cups. Now, this is a Page of Cups energy, but it's in Mystic Monday's deck, so we get a feminine perspective on this energy. And I think it's about how much she loves her Page of Cups and about how she has that same exact energy. She's also childish and goofy and awkward and, pure of heart. And she's ready for this new love, this new beginning, and to just and just kind of really sort of he's so cute, he was stupid like that, just dumb. That's how she's feeling right now a little bit, but she's okay with it. She has a true affection for this energy between them. Their childishness is something that pleases her, and she feels very much this love coming from divine masculine, and she feels very much that she is sending that kind of love to him. The next thing on her mind, she is a star. She is a star. She is shining in the darkness. Somehow, in the craziest year of our lives, she has maintained this star energy. She shines brighter than she did before this terrible, terrible year. Which, you know what? I'm not even going to call it terrible anymore. It was a tower of a year, right? A tower, which is a transformative experience. It's a lot. but she has endured. She's maintained the star energy, and she is consistently shining and not hiding who she is and showing the world just all of the best parts of herself. She's functioning as a healer for divine masculine and for herself, for all those that she comes into contact with. She's having a lot of profound moments whereby she, maybe she's just talking to a friend. It doesn't even have to be like a healing session if she's a healer, or a tarot reading session if she's a tarot reader. She's just talking to a friend, and she makes an observation, and her friend is like, oh my God, that changed my life. She keeps tapping in to that unconscious, drawing from source and bringing it in the material world. And she is very conscious that this is what is making her a star, that she has this potential to be. She's finally really in that energy. Then we see her in Queen of Cups energy. She is very regal. She's very in command of her emotions. She has her own cup filled, and she's ready to share it with someone, the right one. I see the one. She is patient. Actually, I see some patience here because she doesn't really have a lot of emotional reactivity. So she's not being challenged so much anymore by feeling, my King of Wands isn't here yet. She's like, okay, well, I'm here with my cup. I'll see him when he gets here. I will see him when he gets here. And here he's coming very slowly and steadily towards her at a snail's pace. Because this is the slowest moving knight in the deck. But he has an incredibly solid offer. He's very loving. And this is our clarifier for this Princess of Cups. So we have her feeling innocent, pure love, just really true love for this slow and steady knight who she does understand is coming towards her. She's not feeling resistant to this energy. She's understanding that if he had come with Knight of Wands energy before they were ready, it would not have been a good thing. They needed this time to figure all these things out about themselves. The other reason why she's not so worried about how long this takes is because she has done the work. Here's our 9 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles, you're working on self, you're working on craft, you're working on your trade, etc. And then 9 of Pentacles, it is time to take a break. It's time to reward yourself. You've done a lot of hard work, and you're about to come to this 10 of Pentacles, fulfillment in the material world. So she is not minding how long this pentacle takes because, number one, she got her own pentacles, honey. She's also relinquished the need for this peacock here, and our page has definitely got peacock energy. He loves to get all dolled up. This is not her reward. It's not her reward. Nope, it's not, because she has done that work and released her devil energy. She has released the attachment to this reward, to the material manifestation of a specific person. Now, these readings are up and they are down. There are days when she's in this energy, there are days when she is not. But today, which is the only energy that matters, she has released the attachment to this slow and steady knight. She knows he's coming. He can come if he wants. He can come if he doesn't want. She's going to be here in her queenly energy. She's going to be here with her love for him. She's going to be here in her star energy, whether he comes or not, whether he takes that big action or not. It doesn't matter, because she's released her attachments, the codependency, the addiction to him, and to his love bombing, right? She's released it. Take it or leave it is where she's at. The last thing, the bit of overthinking we have, is this 7 of Cups energy, which is mirrored for us in Divine Masculine's heart space. Now for him, he's not confused. He's made his choice. Divine Feminine, interestingly, this is the clarifier for this devil energy. So I think what we're seeing here is, as she's released this attachment to Divine Masculine, she realizes how many cups she could actually drink from, how many different cups there are in the world, that she has a lot of choices. She's also having a lot of feelings in regards to what it means to release the specific attachment and to be able to really kind of free yourself up for any attachment, although that's not her desire. Her desire is to wait for this Knight of Pentacles. But she just understands that she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to. And her Queen of Cups energy is helping her to really keep all of these feelings that she's having under her command. They're not swaying her. They're not taking her out of her regal, queenly, compassionate, sensitive, loving, caring, kind nature. She's feeling her feels, all of them, sensing them, and she's not numbing them either. She's not using this devil energy, this addiction, to numb her feelings when she has them, and that is what's keeping her in her Queen of Cups energy. I said it before, and I will say it again, she is a goddamn queen. All right, top of the deck, overall heart space, Nine of Wands. This is why I'm saying she is willing to wait for this Knight of Pentacles, because we see her here with this perseverance energy. She is continuing to go through and just try to find her way to him, whatever way that is. She understands that that is an inner journey, not an external one. She used to think that in order to get Divine Masculine, she had to do things in the material world to get his attention, to get close to him, to get near him. You know, she felt like she constantly was having to do things or do something. If I don't do something, he's going to forget about me. If I don't do something, he's not going to know where I live. If I don't do something, no. She has moved away from a place where she feels like she has to take all of these actions to get him to come towards her. Instead, she has positioned herself in a place where she is healing her wounds, because she understands that as she becomes whole and healed, he will find her. And when he finds her, he will be in the same energy that she is in, which is healed. So she feels that they are persevering in their healing process, and that they are in a place where, at least for her, she does not have to take action to get this Divine Masculine anymore. She's got him. She's the first thing on his mind, the overall forefront of his mind. She's got him, right? The back of her mind is this Five of Cups energy. We saw it all over the place yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember now, but it's a card about sadness. It can be a card about focusing on spilled cups and not so much about the cups that are behind you. But that is not at all the niggling feeling I'm getting from this card today. What I'm really getting is that she's pouring out the poison of the things that have, created sadness. And she's choosing instead to be so mindful of these two full cups that are behind her. The first feeling in her heart space is Page of Wands energy in reverse. So this is actually feeling this as an understanding. She understands that this King of Wands has been, that there is a reason why he has been ineffective, that there is something that has blocked him. I put it upside down. See how in this image there's this energy here, and it's all on these, it's this tree, it's these roots, and this energy is sweeping up this page, and he's pretty helpless actually. So what I see her feeling is acknowledging that there are things from Divine Masculine's past, and this could be past lives even, but really much in this life, something about his roots or where he came from that have really kept him restricted on, and it kept his actions, the page actions, very small, very ineffective in terms of coming towards this union. But she sees this force that has held him as passing away. She also feels strong enough to absolutely fight off this force. She does not feel like it's going to have any effect on her. And I don't think it is either, because she's just too strong and she's just too much of a star and she's just too much of a loudmouth for anybody to be able to hold her down. And I speak from personal experience. She's got a lot of strength. But she also sees this Page of Wands energy. She sees her divine masculine as having controlled his pride and ego to a certain extent and stopped with this energy towards her, stopped with this ineffective stuff, and started to really show some strong, clear indications that he's coming. Who's coming? Well, it is this Knight of Pentacles. He's coming slowly, steadily, but look at his offer. Look at the beautiful offer that he's bringing. It is worth waiting for. And if he needs to stop and, give his horse a drink, she loves animals. She's not gonna, you should be good to your horse. Don't run him to death. She's okay with it. She's feeling patient. She's not chafing at this Knight of Pentacles energy. She's like, okay, take your time. I understand you have been swept up in some pretty, terrible energy, and you're trying to protect me from it. I get it. Take your time. Do what you got to do. We have our mirror here. Page of Cups. It's in reverse. Her Princess of Cups that's upright, the first thing on her mind. Now, she has an affection for this divine masculine in his Page of Cups energy. So I think the only reason we're seeing this in reverse is simply that this Knight of Pentacles, right, is the reason for the delay. It's the reason why she hasn't seen what is in this divine masculine's cup quite yet. And it is also preventing them from celebrating quite yet. But I also can see here this Three of Cups energy, which of course is mirrored. Divine masculine had it upright in his headspace, and he's worked and ready to share this abundance with her and give her all of his gifts and really do some pretty flashy stuff, it looks like, when it comes right down to it. I also think here that she has a sense that him being blocked from coming in has to do with this third party energy. But that can be karmic relationships, like I said before. It can be belief systems, it can be the environment, it can be career, it can be anything. Just another energy that is functioning to affect the two of them. She is feeling that has really been the only thing that has blocked him, because if it wasn't for this third party energy, he would be here right now. There would be the Knight of Pentacles wouldn't even be a thing. He would have Knight of Wanded it into her life. It probably would have been a shit show, honestly. So again, the divine is protecting them. The divine is putting these obstacles in front of them, partially because they ask for them. You think you don't, but you do. You're like, I really want to be with my divine masculine, but I don't really want to work on my own stuff yet. But I'll just do that when he gets here, because I'll be happy when he's here, and then I'll feel like working on myself. And the divine is like, okay, well, you're asking me for an obstacle, basically, because you're asking me to do something impossible. I can't bring you a healed, healthy masculine if y'all ain't healed. So I got to throw some obstacles in your way so y'all heal, because I have to do everything around here. That's how the divine definitely feels. But this third party energy has blocked their reunion, blocked the celebration. She feels, however, here's this Two of Cups energy. She feels that this back and forth thing that has had to happen between them, he does something, she does something, he does something, she does something. She's feeling the energy of that passing away. Something about maybe in these readings where the spirit is saying, hey, just be generous. It's not tit for tat, quid pro quo. You're not giving him something and expecting something back with interest. You just give because it feels so good. So she's feeling the energy of that passing away, that it doesn't seem like he needs her to validate him, and she doesn't really need him to validate her. And because that has happened, they both feel validated, which is super great. She's also made a decision. I see in her headspace, not to chafe against that Knight of Pentacles energy. And you know what happens when you stop focusing on how long something takes? Well, something arrives. The last cup in her heart is very interesting. Remember how with divine masculine, he has fears and worries in his head, and then his heart's like, nah, It's all right. Divine Feminine often has fears in her heart, and her head's like, it's all right. And that's what's happening today. She's fearing, am I too emotionally reactive? You know, against having this energy, having to wait, all of this thing. Am I too emotionally reactive? And her head is like, nope, you're fine. You're fine. I got you, girl. Like, you might have all these watery emotions. You might have all of these feelings, but I am in command of them. I'm okay. It's fine. You're good. This is also about being careful, Divine Feminine, of being too giving, right? Because you want to stay in a balanced equilibrium. You don't want to tip the scales, which causes pain and suffering. You want to not be too giving. Now that seems like a conflicting message. Be generous. But when you're too giving, what that means is that you are not giving from a place where you have already given to yourself. You can be as giving as you want, as long as you're giving yourself equal attention. So this is her heart just reminding her, yes, we are good at navigating our emotional reactivity. Yes, we are giving, caring, sensitive, compassionate. But remember that we must be this way to ourselves in order to have enough to give to this Divine Masculine. Because as much as we love this Divine Masculine, he showed us something very, very, very personal today. He showed us this really neglected, wounded inner child that he is working on healing. And the thing is, when we have a counterpart with that kind of, that's bringing in those kind of wounds, the Divine Feminine, the mother energy in us, very, 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 very possible for us to start inappropriately, codependently nurturing and mothering, which is not the job of Divine Feminine. That is the job of Divine Masculine, to be able to figure out how to mother himself. Divine Feminine is supposed to hold down the fort and mother herself. You can be nurturing, you can be loving, you can be compassionate, but you must make sure that you are not doing that at the expense of your own health and well-being. And so her heart is just reminding her about that. This is a fantastic reading. Let's look at the oracles and see the advice for how to get this show on the road already. Okay. Divine Masculine, you are in the light traits of the destroyer, releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. Profound imagery on there. When a volcano erupts, the lava flows, but it doesn't flow very fast, you know? It like flows slowly. It destroys everything and there's no escaping it. You cannot get away from what is happening with the lava. There's no way to block it. You gotta run. Your house isn't gonna be there anymore. Your fields aren't gonna be there anymore. When you come back, there's just gonna be a bunch of rocks there eventually, right? It's completely gonna destroy everything. It does it so slowly, gradually. Everything's gone. And you have to leave. You have to get out of its way. So it's a powerful, powerful force. But Divine Masculine is releasing what is potentially destructive. And he's preparing for a new life. After the lava flow is gone and all of the ash is there and everything, it's like, I think it like really nourishes the soil. I don't know shit about geology. I barely pay attention. I probably know that from like an Ancient Aliens show. All right, I'm not talking about anything science. I'm shutting up now. All right, you got 3 guardians, Divine Masculine. You have peaceful, Holy Spirit. This is the big one. You know, we get Christ a lot in your side, and he's a big guardian too. But the Holy Spirit is like one notch above, because the Holy Spirit is the thing that's constantly manifesting on the earth. The Holy Spirit is what manifested Christ onto the earth and took him back. So this is like a really big, powerful energy. And it's one of the most wonderful things to see, because it's actually something that you sense in your heart space. peace. There are no more battles to fight. You can be at peace. The Holy Spirit has brought this to you. Whatever choices you make, whatever you do, it's blessed by this peace. Here's St. Nicholas. We cannot get rid of this card. This card, it's just here a lot. And you know, with this whole thing about like these gifts and the abundance and the celebration, like, could be a timing card. I hate that. Don't put a whole lot of, don't put so much. Who cares about the timing? But I say it because you're thinking it, and I'm going to say it. It could be a timing card, but it is about generosity. So you're being encouraged to continue to be very generous. It looks like it's working well for you. St. Anthony is also here to tell you, you found it. You found it. You found it. You found it. So head towards it. I can create castles as easily as buttons. This is such a weird card. When you understand the laws, then you understand that it is not more difficult to create a castle than it is a button. And you're thinking about like a button on a shirt. I don't know, because we're a tech age, I think like a button that you push, and I'm like, why? How do you even create one of those? Also, how do you even create a button? I don't know. It's just a weird analogy from Abraham Hicks. We love Abraham Hicks, but this is a weird one. They are equal. And this is how it's really defined. It is not more difficult to create $10 million than $100,000. It is the same application of the same law to two different intentions. I would make that even more drastic. I would say it is not more difficult to create $10 than $1 million. And you're like, what? It is way more difficult to do that. But that's only because of the limiting beliefs you have about how big $1 million is. It's so big. It's so unattainable. Well, that's all it is. That is all that is between you and $10 million. If you felt the same way about your hourly wage that you did about $10 million, you'd be able to create it just as quickly. If you felt that McDonald's food was as nourishing to you, if you truly believed that you were as nourished by McDonald's food as you are by wheatgrass, and you could believe that, no one could sway you from that belief. You could eat McDonald's every day. You'd be healthiest of your life. Because we're not material, really. We're just light and energy, and it's just the law is you attract what you believe, what you're thinking. So if you can think, Divine Masculine, that this that you're trying to achieve is not a bigger thing than anything you've done in your life. It seems so significant to you because you've never had this before. But if you can really think without limiting beliefs about it, it would be as simple for you to manifest this relationship as it would be for you to manifest $10. Work through your fears. It looks like you're doing that. Keep doing that. Work through your fears about how big this is, how difficult, how many pieces have to fall in place, how everything has to work just so. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So there might be some people right now, some third-party energy that is maybe impinging, okay? Start to ask yourself, where do I need to create better boundaries so that I can have what I'm prioritizing and not be over-giving or trying to people please? And that was emphasized, so that's a big one for you. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing over, crossing the threshold. So you're here, you're on that threshold, you're about to cross over. Okay, Divine Feminine, let us look at you. You're in the light attributes of the magical child, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things and the belief that everything is possible. We see you there, right there in your headspace. You are all about this magical child energy. I have Harry Potter's birthday. I read that series every year. In fact, it is that time of year for me to start reading it again, and I'm super stoked on it. I had to finish Game of Thrones first, which I reread. Yes, I'm a nerd, and I do that, but I read really fast, so I can read new books too. I just wanted to read all the old ones. Magical child energy is the greatest energy. If you have never read Harry Potter because you thought it was cheesy and pop culture, shame on you. But put that aside and read it. It is literally the updated Messiah story for the ages. It's wonderful. I know it has now, after the Black Lives movement stuff, I know it has issues. There's issues with J.K. Rowling, and there's issues with some of the stuff in her, and it's valid. And you should definitely not disregard that many things in our culture are exclusive to certain people. But the heart of that book and the heart of the story is so powerful. I my sister used to have on her phone it's really hard for her to wake up. My mother would send me to wake her up. I'm 11 years older than her. And my mother would send me to wake her up when she was like a teen, like when I would be home from college or something. And I would be like, no, I'm not doing that. Because she was so mean and horrible to wake up. And she would just like have 20,000 alarms or whatever. And one time her phone was on the table and I saw that she had, one of her alarms said, if Harry Potter defeated the Dark Lord, then you can wake up when this alarm goes off. That was the name of the alarm, and I was dead. But it's amazing how many times I have turned to that magical child energy and related to Harry and related to the battles he had to fight and how he chooses to fight them. And being magical and seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things and believing that everything is possible is exactly what helps you to build castles instead of buttons, right? Most people don't have that ability. They see everything as very black and white. What is? You're not in that energy, Divine Feminine, and you're really being acknowledged for that. Now, you have 3 guardians. Mary, Mother Mary. This is very profound to me. I'm tearing up because I have been saying prayers that I said as a child, and very weird for me because a lot of the elements of Catholicism, I really was like, all right, I'm good on that, like I'm queer, it doesn't fit me. But now I'm finding there's communities even within Catholicism where that's not true, and I'm just like renewing and like finding a way to integrate it into my life, and it's so positive. And so Mother Mary is here with you right now, that mothering energy. So you're in the magical child energy, and then you have your mother here with you. I'm going to tear up. And your father, God energy, love. You have nurturing. You have love. And this is funny because every night I've been saying the Our Father and the Hail Mary. Just crazy. Heaven is watching over you. You are absolutely protected, which is why Divine Masculine doesn't have to worry about having to be your earthly protector. You don't need an earthly protector. This Divine Feminine and this Divine Masculine are absolutely protected by the divine, period. Everyone is, but this particular group of people in my collective, they're called here as healers. Most of them have angelic connections. Most of them feel like a lot of, they resonate with different healing modalities, tarot reading, Reiki, things that are making a profound difference in the world. They're even starting to be accepted by mainstream healthcare practices. So we definitely have a collective of healers, and they're necessary and they're very protected. Divine Feminine, I attract the essence of my thoughts. There's your home that you're longing for. The law of attraction and its magnetic power reaches out into the universe and attracts other thoughts that are vibrationally like it and brings that to you. And so you are getting the essence of what you are thinking about, whether it is something you want or something you do not want. So think about what you want, because you are attracting the essence of what you want to you. These branches here, all these branches, the more you have of this branch, the more detail you fed it. If you fed detail to something you don't want, that's the harvest you're going to get. If you don't feed it that much, you don't have as much to worry about. Feed detail into the things that you do want. What do you need to release, Divine Feminine? There's still some stuff left for you to release. You got to think about it. What's left? Probably doubts, probably insecurities. Ooh, you've got this emphasized star seed. What lights you up? Well, you are absolutely in your star energy. So you're being asked, what do you need to release? And what lights you up? What lights you up? Continue to do what you are passionate about. This was an emphasized card too. Whatever it is that lights you up is going to generate abundance for you. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? So when you figure out what lights you up, if you haven't already, or when you put all of your energy into this, how are you then being called to take this light and step up and lead with this high priestess energy that you have? Trusting your intuition. All right. Y'all are in your athlete energy. So this is bottom of the deck for the divine couple. Top of the deck is, bottom of the deck for the archetypes is you are in the light attributes of the athlete still. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps and development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. So y'all are champions right now, and you're really bringing it. You're bringing your A game to this whole process. You're getting a retreat card. Now, I do not at all sense this as a retreat from each other. I've seen this card come up, actually, for a personal reading for somebody that's watching right now, too. And the command of this card is go on a retreat immediately. Take a vacation immediately. And I think that there might just be a message here for this divine couple that this retreat will be something that they get to do together, that they get to really very soon kind of retreat from the material world and just go into their union. Yeah, I wish I had the heart button because I'm like, yes, please, union, physical union, please, let's retreat into a cabin for months and never come out. All right. My creative workshop process works for me. Okay, this is one of these Abraham Hicks cards where if you don't know necessarily some of the teachings of Abraham Hicks, I would highly encourage you to just go to YouTube, type in Abraham Hicks, and watch whatever comes up, because it is one of those things that you can kind of shuffle through and just get tons of really powerful messages from Abraham Hicks. Very, very basically, Esther and Jerry Hicks were a couple that 20-some years ago started to experience, Esther started to experience a channeling of beings that call themselves Abraham, and they bring messages about the law of attraction, and very powerful messages. This deck has all of those messages, and it's meant to kind of spark you into just thinking. You're supposed to pull a card every day and just think about the law of attraction and keep it in your mind. We're working right now collectively on the one card that says every morning for 30 days when you wake, I will say, I intend to see, I expect to see, no matter who I am with, no matter what I am doing, no matter where I am, I intend to see, I expect to see that which I want to see. So it's like practices like that. One of the practices she has is called the creative workshop. And that's basically where you figure out what you want your intentions to be, how to set those intentions, and you then use this workshop, so to speak, where you've kind of figured all of this stuff out to help you intend in a way that doesn't prevent you from getting the thing that you want. For instance, let's say you want a new car, okay? And you think to yourself, I want a Bentley, because I do. I don't know why. I don't even care about cars, but I've always I like how Bentleys look. It's just, I don't know. So I want a Bentley, right? Well, I live in this apartment in central Los Angeles with about $2,000 a month kind of income. Just barely about that much. So it would be really hard for me to imagine being able to have a Bentley. So if I intended to see and expected to see a Bentley every day, and I had a lot of limiting beliefs about it, it might be pretty hard for me to manifest that. But if I intend to see and I expect to see a new means of transportation, and I don't give that any kind of a label, and then when I go into my creative workshop, I take pictures of Bentleys. I watch people driving around in them. I look at the interior of them, and I just find pleasure in it. Like, my son is super into cars, so I could call him up and be like, hey, why don't you like pull together all of your favorite models of Bentleys? Because he would do he's literally, when we're driving in the car in LA, he'll be like, that's a 1973 whatever. And I'll be like, how do you even know that? Like, where did you find the time to be able to identify car models like that? So I could talk to him about it. Which is so fun to like enjoy talking about cars with him. And then he's like, oh mom, like imagine the Bentley has computers in the back, like whatever. I could attract a Bentley, not by intending to see one, but by having fun thinking about it. It'll be really fun. All right. If you will use your time with an intention to collect data that you may bring into your creative workshop, you will find every day to be more fun. It's fun to think about things that you want, unless you think you can't have them. If when you look at the Bentley, you're like, I'm never going to have something like this, it's stupid for me to even think about it. Well, there you go. But if you just intend to have new transportation and you get a new model of a car that just like looks like the Bentley, like there's that Chrysler one that kind of looks like a Bentley, maybe you attract that one. Like, it doesn't matter. It's really just about you having fun thinking about all the fun things there are to do and be and have on the planet. All right, for the two of you right now, emotions are running high. So tread carefully. You're both excited. You're both really, really, really passionate people, and you're both very sensitive people. No shame in that, but you are. So emotions are running high. Be careful. Tread carefully. Finally, your vibration is rising. You, divine couple, are the oracle. So all these messages that you're getting from these oracle cards, you can get from yourself, because your vibration is rising. And as your vibration is rising, and as you're releasing limiting beliefs, when you're releasing these limiting beliefs, you're attracting everything that's waiting for you. Because everything you've ever wanted, it's like in a storage locker in your vortex, like spinning around there. And as soon as you start to match the vibration of a Bentley, that shit gonna roll right up and pick you up. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a fun reading. I have so much work to do though. Like yesterday I was like, I'm going to do all the edits today and then I'll just mix my track tomorrow. And then I did edits for hours and hours and hours, and then got to the end of the night and was like, I think I'm just going to re-record all of this. And I did. And then I got up this morning and listened to it, and I recorded it with the click track, because I have these. When my car got broken into, they stole everything, including like all my adapters for my headphones and stuff. So I can't plug headphones that are not open back. I have like these fancy reference ones, which are great for doing mixes, but not great for recording your vocals. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put the click track on like really quietly and like a top line, and I'll sing to the top line, which I did 4 times last night, and I got really clean, in tune vocals. And then this morning I turned it on and was like, okay, let's see how I did. And they are so lazy because the song has this like driving force in it, and I'm just like, I was singing with a click track, so it doesn't at all match the feeling of the song, and I have to record them again. And then I have to mix it all, because it's gonna be released tomorrow, no matter what. So I will have it finished before I sleep today, and I shall be releasing my first ever completely self-produced. I wrote it myself, I performed it myself, I'm mixing it myself, I am mastering it myself, and I shall release it tomorrow on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and for Patreon subscribers, you can download it for signing up to support me to continue to make the rest of the EP, which I would like to release in February. So that is what is happening tomorrow, by hook or by crook. And I do not have the luxury of my professor handing me back my essay with A crossed out, B crossed out, C crossed out, and the little message, this would have been an A if you turned it in on time. don't have that luxury. So it's coming out tomorrow. I do appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for everybody who joins me every day on Tuned In Tarot. Take care and have a wonderful day today.